Hi guys and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be playing with yet another Jeffree Star palette. This is the Thirsty palette. This was his summer palette. I have only just got around to playing with it. I haven't touched it yet, but I ordered this about a month ago and I still haven't had time to play with it. But here we are today, playing around with a summer palette going into autumn. Before I go into this palette, I've just got to say, look at this packaging. It's my favourite colour, this bright orange that I absolutely love. And if you reflect it into the light, I don't know if you can just about see that, all these water droplets all over the palette. I think it's supposed to be more like a popsicle theme, because when you open the palette, it looks like this. It looks like a little popsicle, like with a stick here. And I don't know if you can just about see that, but all of the water droplets on top of the popsicle, like outer layer too, which is a really cool touch, I think. I've never seen a palette with that. It's just really cool, I really like it. So going into the palette, we have our very thick protective sleeve, which I really appreciate. So satisfying. A lovely chunky big mirror. I don't want to blind you guys, but a lovely chunky big mirror, and I really like that. So for travelling, I can see my whole face in this. I could do my whole makeup look in this mirror. It's very big, very clear. And the palette itself is very thin, it's very lightweight, not like the Blood Sugar palette. I probably wouldn't recommend that for travelling just because it's quite big, but that's completely up to you. If you have no weight limit on your bags and you're driving somewhere, it's not a difficult palette to travel with, it's just quite heavy. However, this one is lovely and thin, made out of cardboard. It feels really luxury. The packaging and everything has just had so much detail and attention put into it. All of Jeffree's products do, which is why I love all of his products. But yeah, it's just a really pretty palette. And then you go into the colours, and I'd say these colours are really quite unique. Maybe not individually, but actually as a palette it is quite unique, and it does just remind me of a summertime, I don't know, just a summertime fun, I guess. All of these bright pops of these coral colours, the yellows, the blues, it's just so fun yet so wearable. You know, actually if you look at it, you've only got really 4 colours that are really bright. However, the rest of the palette is quite neutral in its own little way, so don't be put off by this palette because it's actually really wearable. So if I just hold the palette up there, you can see that we've got a whole row of glitters. This doesn't have the Jeffree Star logo on it because he said something about them being pressed differently, so he didn't want to compromise on formula, so he didn't put the star on them, which is absolutely fair enough. And then we've got a row of mattes here and a row of mattes here, so I really like that. You've got a really nice light shade and a really deep dark brown shade. He's really thought about those inner corner colours and those outer corner colours. I like to create depth in my outer corner just because of my eye shape, so I'm really glad that he's thought about this sort of colour situation. I'm going to be priming my eyes with the Magnifies Eye Primer by Rimmel London. I just really like this eye primer. It's nothing particularly special. You could use concealer. That's what I use a lot of the time, but today I'm going to use this primer. Okay, so primer on my eyes. I'm going to go into the first shade called Parched, and I'm just going to lay this all over my lid to just basically set that primer down. I'd say this Parched colour is actually a perfect transition colour for my skin tone. Probably not if you're any deeper than me, but there are other options right over here that are sort of deeper and darker, so there are quite a lot of options for transition colours in here, which is really nice. And then with the same fluffy brush that I used for Parched, I'm going to go into the shade Kumquat right here, which is this very warm tone brown with hints of orange, I'd say, in it. And I'm just going to lay this throughout my crease. I've got to say I'm absolutely in love with Jeffree's formula for his eyeshadows. They are just amazing. There's no fallout in any of his shadows, which I'm typically not bothered by, but actually, I mean, it's always a bonus when you don't have any fallout in your eyeshadows. It just makes the experience just a lot nicer when you're playing with them. And yet again, with the same fluffy brush, I'm going to go into the shade Subtle, which is actually more of a cool tone shade. I want to play with the cool tones and the warm tones together in the eye and see what it looks like, but I just want to bring this back down to kind of a neutral brown in my eyes. So I'm just going to build up these colours in the crease. And that's another thing I like about this palette. There are actually a mix of cool tones and warm tones all throughout the palette. So it's actually very versatile with what you want to do with it. So I'm actually really liking that. I'm going to go into a bit more of a smaller, fluffier brush, as you can see right there. And I'm going to go into the shade Splash, which is this turquoisey blue. And then once again, fluff this throughout my crease. I don't want this green to be too prominent. I don't want it to be the first thing you see. I want it to be a hint of colour. So it kind of like, oh, you got a hint of green in your eyes, you know? I don't want it to stand out too much. I don't want it to be the predominant and prevailing colour in this look. It's amazing how that greeny shade has just completely transformed that transition from a warm to like a neutrally sort of cool tone. I actually find that really interesting. I really like that. I'm then going to go into that blue colour Submerge and just literally just tiny amount in my crease just on top of that greeny shade. Not a lot at all. I don't even want it to be very noticeable at all. I just want to kind of bring in a little bit more blue to it. So just a tiny amount. I then want to play around with some of these really beautiful sort of glittery shades. I want to go into the shade Divine, which is this beautiful silver colour. I'm absolutely obsessed with silver colours, so I'm gonna, whoa, that's pigmented. I'm just gonna put this in my inner sort of half of my eye. Hello. I feel like this glittery shade is really buildable, which is actually what I like. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, like look at that. Like, the pigment goes on straight away. These shadows are pigmented. So if you want to build it up, use a flat brush like this and it will come a little bit more sheerer. But if you want pigment and make a statement, use your finger. I'm then going to go into the shade next to it called Filthy Rich, which is like a silvery gold. This one to me is more of a gold with orange undertones, whereas this one is more of a silvery undertoned gold. And I'm going to place this on the outer half of my eye. They're not like his sparkly shades from other palettes, so the Beauty Killer palette, the Blood Sugar palette, the Androgyny palette. It's not the same formula, so if you're expecting the same glittery formula, it's not going to be the same. It's actually more of a drier formula, so I feel like more glitter is shown rather than a metallic sheen, if you know what I mean. It's more of a glittery, sparkly shade, but that can easily be made foiled by being made wet, or even pressing it in with a finger just makes it a little bit more, I don't know, just makes it a little bit more metallic. I'm kind of just merging these two shades together just so they blend in nicely. Obviously we are playing with two very different colours, a silver and a gold, so I want it to look nice and not weird. I'm then going to go back into the Kumquat shade and then fluff this throughout my crease again, just because I feel like we've lost that lovely deep brown warmth in that crease. So I'm just going to fluff that up more up into my socket rather than pointing down. I want to fluff it upwards like this rather than pointing it downwards and covering that glitter. And then once again just going back into that splash colour. Again, not doing too much, but just re-emphasising that greeny sort of colour in that crease there. And I feel like it matches quite well with the gold and the silver. It kind of merges it all together and makes it look more of a tealy eye, but you're like, oh wait, it's not quite teal, it's like silver. Oh wait, no, it's gold. I don't know, it's just how I feel. I'm then going to go in with the deepest shade here called Drizzle, and I'm going to go in with this really petite fluffy brush and then just put this on the outermost corner, making a little wiggly circle sort of shapes. I don't want to drag it all over that gold, but I just want to make a point of absolute deep darkness in my outer corner. I'm also just taking that shade and dragging it on my lower lash line as well, just to the outer corners, just there. I'm going to go back into that parched shade and just put that on my brow bone a bit, just to bring that colour down, just because it's creeping a little bit too close to my brow bone. I just want to make it a little bit lighter again. I'm then going to go back into the shade Kumquat and put this on my lower lash line. And then I'm going to dip into Splash a little bit and just run this on top of the whole of the lower lash line as well, just to kind of reflect what's happening on the top of the lashes a little bit. And I'm going to go into the shade Subtle to make it a little more subtle, you know, and just fluff that on my lower lash line. Okay, so I think I'm done with my eyes, so I'm just going to apply some mascara and I will be right back. Okay, so mascara on, and I applied the Ofra liquid lipstick in Bel Air, which I thought went nicely with this look. I think the look I've created is quite unique because it's kind of got that chameleon-y sort of aqua going through the crease, and then it's got the warm, the cool tones, the silvers, the golds. It's very like a mishmash of colours, but I kind of really like it. I was a little bit doubtful halfway through the look, but I'm glad I stuck with it because it's actually really quite unique. As for the palette, I absolutely love it. I love this sort of wooden texture going behind the shades. I think that's really unique as well. All of the shades performed beautifully. I wasn't expecting the glittery shades to be as packed and as quite like hard topped as the other ones, because all of his other palettes, the metallics are quite creamy, but these are quite like hard and packed tightly, so I was quite surprised by that, but they still worked beautifully, so I haven't really got a problem with that. I just wasn't expecting that sort of formula. All of the colours here are absolutely beautiful. I'm really sort of happy with the uniqueness of them, and I'll definitely be gravitating towards this palette again because these shades are so beautiful, and I feel like I can create some really beautiful looks, especially really bright pops of colour down here, and I could also do like an evening look with these really dark, smoky, metallic colours as well. So really like this palette, and it looks beautiful. I love the packaging, I love everything about it. I love Jeffree Star's products, and I've actually really enjoyed playing with it and creating this look today. But yeah, today I just wanted to really play around with this palette, give it a quick road test. I do actually really like it, and I do like the look I've created, so yeah. I really like this palette. Because today's tutorial / review has been quite quick today, if you do want any other looks with this palette or swatches or anything like that, please do just pop that in the comments down below and I will do that for you because yeah, I really like this one. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today. I really do appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up button if you have enjoyed, or if you do want to see more looks with this palette, and I will gladly do so. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell to all, because that's what you got to do to see videos nowadays. God only knows. Thank you guys once again for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! Is it with the L'Oreal, no, wrong brand, ambery gold. Oh, I poked myself in the eye. Please don't water.